Welcome to the Blind Zone, where curiosity brings its own reward. And man, it's been a year already. And in honor of the year, I wore my reindeer ears, which is the first thing I wore on the very first welcome video. And they jingle too. I just want to talk about what happened over the last year, the good, the bad. And it's not really a rehearsal of what went well and what didn't, but how much I've grown during this process over the last year. I can honestly say that I have learned so much about myself in doing these, and I have had a fabulous amount of content with the people that I've invited on that have shared their life stories or parts of and pieces of their life that I've learned a lot from that too. And what caused the transition from the old blind zone tagline, we all can say it, and so say it with me. What is a blind zone? It's something that you never saw coming, or something that was right in front of you that you refuse to acknowledge. And in talking to my good friends when we shot the Thanksgiving video, we were sitting around and they asked me very pointedly, is that the direction of the blind zone? And I had to say, no, it really wasn't anymore. Because in the beginning, it started out one way, and then I could see that it had evolved into something else. So that's where we get the new tagline. Welcome to the blind zone, where curiosity brings its own reward. Because all these things are because I am curious. I've invited people on that I didn't know much about what they were talking about. And so I got to learn along with them on a guided expose into, things they were comfortable and familiar with. But even on the ones that I do by myself, where I just talk about either theology or the things I've learned, I am just shocked at how many things I learned about who I was that I probably never would have unearthed had I not started this adventure. So what I am going to say is that the last year had some hurdles that we needed to overcome. I could not have done any of it without my production manager, Kelly, or my executive assistant, Cindy. And we have switched platforms for the most part. In the future, we'll do many more Zoom episodes where I get to interview and talk to people all over the country, because just because I'm in one place and they're in another doesn't mean that we can't make that work. So again, thanks to technology, I'll be able to do that and more. And we're going to clarify what it is. We're going to focus on a mission and a purpose. And again, that's so that I can curiously look at things and bring them to my audience, things that I think would be interesting for them to want to find out, because I know I certainly wanted to find out them. So, some of my favorite episodes have obviously been with the ones with Cindy, Deirdre, and myself, the Prayer Posse, the one where we talked about our colors, and the Thanksgiving one, because there's a lot of fun energy in that room. But other ones, like the ones with Dr. Richards, where he brings his expertise of grief into a very usable format, I thought that was very helpful. And the one where I was by myself and it was on control, where I talked about believing that I was going to die and that I worked it all out to go to a funeral home and make a video of myself. And that to me was really funny, and not funny in the moment, but funny that I was that serious about doing all that. I'm not in control. I, I have limited scope as to what happens next. I do the best I can, and then in the providential will of God, He'll take care of the rest. So, again, lots of fun people that I've interviewed. I've had a woodworker on here. I've had pastors. I've had things where I've really learned a lot about how important things were to me, and that they were literally line in the stand, a stake in the ground, that I said, this is that important. So again, happy anniversary to me that it's been 1 year. And when this whole thing started, I had a friend in my leaders development group, and her son was still in high school, and he was doing media as one of his classes. So he and a friend came over, and they did the first taping for me. And now I'm sure they're on to college and bigger and better things. But they were, again, the first linchpin to get this whole thing started. And without them and the help of others, this wouldn't be what it is. And because people care enough about me and this product, they've given me hints and tips and tricks along the way so that I could make this into a better vehicle than it had been in the past. And again, as when Cindy and I explored this topic a couple weeks ago, there were some that it just grieved me that I put out there like that. But I vowed I wasn't going to do that in the future, that I wanted a good product or no product at all. In fact, I've had to scrap a couple of them that I just thought, nope, these aren't worthy of the quality that I want to extol going forward. So again, thank you for coming along with me on this journey, and I hope you get as much just, I don't know, interesting things that you find out about, or just happiness, or whatever, or even if it sparks an interest in something, or it has you thinking differently about something, then I've done my job. Because my brother and my son would just say, I'm not curious, I'm just nosy. But curiosity is a much nicer word, so I'm sticking with that. So again, where curiosity brings its own rewards, I hope that you'll come along, because next year I have some fabulous people already lined up, and I'm looking forward to that, because when I grow, you grow, and I always look forward to the more that I get to know. And the further I can stretch my wings, the better off I am. So thank you. Thank you for coming along, and happy anniversary to me, and we'll see you next week on The Blind Zone.